In our continuous coverage of the hijab showdown in Karnataka that has escalated outside the state as well. Meanwhile, Karnataka High Court hearing is now underway. It has resumed in the Karnataka High Court. Lawyers are asking the High Court to set a time limit on the matter and give a verdict as early as possible. The High Court has asked for intervention applications not to be considered. So this is the latest that has come in from the Karnataka High Court, where at about 2:30 p.m. the hearing resumed. And what we are being told is that as of now, the lawyers are asking the High Court to set time limit on the matter, give a verdict as early as possible. High Court asking for intervention applications not to be considered. Let's go across quickly to my colleague Nolan Pinto for the latest on that. He's in Shivmoga. We'll be joined by other colleagues as well. Nabila Jamal will be in Udupi. Quickly to you first, Nolan, because you've been tracking the court updates. Are lawyers of both sides asking for an exact time to be set and the matter to be resolved as early as possible? What are you picking up from the court, Nolan?
Pooja, the bench has assembled. They have started to argue. In fact, Professor Ravi Verma Kumar has started to present his submissions on the Education Act. But before that, senior advocates from both sides, in fact, even the Advocate General has agreed to that. Advocate Subhash Jha said that this is the fourth day. Every lawyer is capable of arguing for hours. The submission is that issue which the Lordship is to decide is not res integra. Let it be decided as expeditiously as possible. In fact, another advocate, K. Raj, said, my suggestion is that the High Court should prescribe the order for arguing for each advocate and the time limit. In fact, the Advocate General then said, I would support that. So all of them want this to complete as fast as possible, because we've seen in the past how Advocate Kamath and also Advocate Hegde have gone on for almost 2-3 days with their arguments. Yesterday they brought in laws from abroad, from South Africa, from different countries, to tell why it's important that essential religious practice is very important. So as of now, the hearing has begun. Advocate Kumar is actually, Senior Advocate Kumar is focusing on the Education Act. Pooja, he says that Rule 11 of the Education Rules says that educational institutions should give 1 year advance notice to parents for changing uniform. Then, referring to that rule, he says if there was to be a ban on the hijab, the notice ought to have been given 1 year in advance. Then he goes on to state that PU colleges don't come under this. And finally, he says that the government order has also declared that no uniform is prescribed for PU colleges. And he says, when he reads from the guideline, he says, to quote him, uniform is not mandatory for students studying in pre-university colleges, that is 11th and 12th. He adds, but some colleges and management committees have imposed uniforms as mandatory, which is illegal prescription of any uniform.
Stay on with me, Nolan. I want to quickly go across to Nabila as well. Nabila, because you're in Udupi, from where it all started. What are you picking up from the court now and its repercussions on the ground, specifically among students who are not being allowed to go in despite those colleges or schools earlier permitting the headscarf?
Right, there's a lot of talk about whether PU colleges have a uniform prescribed or not. In fact, the Karnataka government's PU board had clearly put out guidelines for the year 2020 to 2021 that said that PU colleges need not have uniforms. Today what we saw, what we saw at the Udupi government PU college, where the actual controversy kicked off. That's where I am right now as well. Right behind me is the Udupi government college. Today things have been smooth here, but another degree college in Udupi, which is G. Shankar Degree College, where girls of the final year have their examinations in just 10 days time, but they were not allowed from entering their classes wearing the hijab. In fact, they were allowed all the years. Those girls have worn it for 3 years, but at the final year, at the fag end of their academic year, because of this situation that snowballed to this extent, colleges have now decided that they're not going to wade into the controversy. They will keep out of it, will not allow girls to wear hijab henceforth until the court's verdict.
So there appears to be complete chaos and confusion on the ground while the hearing is underway. I request both Nabila and Nolan to please stay on with me.